Yo, it's Jazzy Jazz with iHeartRadio and Lee Bailey's EURweb.com Spotlight. I'm fangirling out right now because you could probably see who I have in the Zoom building. A legend, an icon, a pioneer. I mean, you know, you're our Shiro, Pam. You gave us all permission to be sexy, badass, and boss as you were when you pioneered Foxy Brown.
Don't
And
blame
not
me. Don't blame. I got it from you. Don't. I get it
but
from
you
all the
know, it's
people.
not just in your films, but it's in your personal life. You are a true Shiro and an icon, and I'm just honored to have you in the Zoom building. Yes.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me and wanting to explore. What I've been doing for passionately. And I always believe in things that make you happy, you want to be around. And that's being in film and telling women's narratives, our stories, and since I did, I take responsibility for establishing the brown nipple revolution. That giving us acceptance and us creating, from where we've been from our culture to where we are now as modern women. And it's the courage and the confidence that we have now. Because I'm from a rural, military and urban environment, family, working class, and I learned a lot from them, and I learned from my peers. And to be able to, look up at Shonda Rhimes and to look at Oprah and look at Alicia Keys. I did a documentary for Alicia Keys, which is just brilliant, about myself and Cicely Tyson and Ruby Dee and Lena Horne, and she's a filmmaker. Alicia
Yeah.
Keys, she's wonderful.
And
So
you know, you've paved the way. You paved the way for all of that. And now you're in a new movie. Congratulations, Cinnamon. You play a cold-hearted bitch for real. She will stab somebody through a hand with a knife in a minute. She runs a gang. What did you draw on to play that role, to play that villain?
family members. Sorry. Come on, now when there's a wedding reception, when you come in with your auntie and your and grandmama and everybody, okay, you're gonna be the first one to die for the centerpiece, right? I'll get the centerpiece for you because you will get stabbed for it. So those are culture, laughter and humor. But she is sight impaired and she's disabled and she has issues that she demands respect for, and she probably has some anger and missing a lot of what she could have had. And so when she's disrespected, you're gonna get the anger, you're gonna get how she feels about life. And like the first cut is the deepest, and that's something you learn in a rural environment, maybe in a gang, in an urban environment. But she has her way, and she is very forceful and courageous about it.
She is, and you played that so well. Her character was palpable, and you did it without almost any dialogue
Yes,
because you
yes,
did it with your walk. You did it with the way you raised those shades, the glasses that you were wearing, the dark glass, tint. You
yes.
raised it up. You scared me.
That scared me. I had nightmares. I couldn't see the movie again because I it caused me to have anxiety. So,
Was
um,
it hard to play it without dialogue? You know,
yes, yes, it was. I had practiced, studied, and of course received the confidence from the director, writer Brian Montgomery of how we would project her. And I said, "Whoa, okay." But I have been a director of a therapeutic writing program where I work with people who are sight impaired, speech impaired, just different abled who can't walk or ride a bike, and how they're frustrated when they can't exceed, be successful in a movement of getting on a horse, or they're building their confidence every day and letting them know that they are not less of a human being. Matter of fact, they are more, because when you do lose a sensory a part of your body, another part takes over.
it's so
And
true.
sometimes you're frustrated because of many of the people that I've learned working for in the last 20, 25 years is different able people are invisible, and I
Yeah.
want her to be visible, and I want my students to be visible and build their confidence, and they have anger.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
absolutely.
they're gonna run over
Absolutely.
your foot with the wheelchair. They're gonna smack. And I wanted to convey all the levels of emotions that she would have in
Well, you
this
did it.
time.
You did it so well. And congratulations again, fam. It's Cinnamon. It's on Tubi. Now, for those who don't know and haven't read it yet, Foxy, My Life in Three Acts, y'all got to get this book. Because, like I said, you have been courageous in your personal life. Before the Me Too movement, you talked about the trauma you experienced that gave you a stutter. Can you share a little bit of that with us?
I can, and I won't pass out and lose oxygen from it. But yes, I was attacked 4 times in my life as a child in kindergarten, and then first grade, and then in college, and so, and by a family member. And there was this patriarchal entitlement of women, and and I just got so tired of seeing our family members, my peers, just being subjected to, this oppression that we marched about. Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, Gloria Steinem. We're all saying, the independent woman, when our men didn't come back from Vietnam or from the Mediterranean War, women had to get out there and cut the grass. We were vilified for stepping in a man's shoes. Well,
Right.
our already projected it in my films, that we're not trying to castrate, we're just trying to fill the void and be equal and take care of what we've established, and
Right.
still and have the choice of being married or not.
Exactly. And
And
you know, I've been
the
sexually
children not be
assaulted.
vilified for it, because they were, don't you don't need to go to college, I'll take care of you. No, because if you're dead, I have nothing
Right.
to do with.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've been sexually assaulted 6 times, and your voice helped give me voice to be able to talk about it. So, where did you find that courage and that voice to say, yes, I was abused and it had an impact on me, and I'm going to share that with other women, with other people?
Well, you take small steps, you still move forward. There's cultures that aren't accepting of it and don't care, because you're basically owned by a community or society. And I just said, well, it's a healing for me, and I'm sure it's healing for many. Now, in my book signings, not just women showed up and said, "You're okay, I'm okay." I was men showed up,
Yes.
young boy, they showed up and talked and spoke of intimately of their attacks
Yes.
in
Yes.
society, and equated my healing. And we're not healed completely, we're not perfect, we're different, we're stronger, different. And their experiences were very similar to my,
Mm,
possibly yours. And they weren't shamed. I said, yes, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to talk about drugs, I'm going to talk about sexuality, everything. Today we're talking about it, we're
right.
talking about women's bodies, and we're talking about our periods during the NBA game.
Right.
um,
Right. Right.
we're not we aren't cringing over femininity. And
Right.
the fact that our psychopathology of womanhood, and me being from a radical feministic, perspective, is now accepted, because someone had to talk about it.
Right. And
Someone
you
had to
also wrote in your book about some of your loves. And of course, you've had some famous ones, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Richard Pryor and Freddie Prinze, rest in peace. Was any of those the love of your life, like an epic love, like you felt like, oh, I will carry this forever?
not forever, nothing lasts forever. Like today, I have my dates are like seasonal dates, 90 minute,
Yes,
90 day,
yeah.
3 month dating periods. That's it. And then the last 3 months are for me. But no, people grow, and I just didn't know if I would be with them forever. But with Kareem, I didn't have a long enough time to process being a Muslim woman. He didn't give me enough time, but I knew that I couldn't make him happy as Islam had made him. And so I relinquished the religion. I let him go. And I was happy for it. You know, I learned a lot about it. And then with Freddie Prinze, they all have their agendas, whether you're just going to bear children for them or home or whatever. With Richard, the same thing. I thought we would be a filmmaking couple. But he had to adjust and process his past with drugs and alcohol and a
He had a lot
very
of demons.
yeah. But he also grew up in an environment where men ruled, and
Mm,
and a lot of cultures don't listen to women. You know, they no matter what you do, no matter how brilliant you are, how much money you have, you know, there's going to be some type of, you know, subjective, you know, not resistance, but they don't listen. They think they're always better, whatever it is, culturally or whatever. But I have, you have to prove yourself. And many of when the war, when they came back from the war and they didn't have arms and legs and they were impaired, and you took over and took care of them. My grandfather always said, Pammy, you know, if a woman can do something, a man will respect them.
mm.
He said, you know, fix a boat, drive a boat, do things. And we're not saying I'm emasculating you or I'm taking away your pride, your masculine pride, but at some point I got to step in
That's right. That's right. Wait,
and,
now is
and respect my femininity.
that's right.
There are
And you
two.
really exemplified that
I hope
in your
so.
movies. You really did. And like I said, your life too. Now, okay, I gotta ask you, is it true that Richard used to put coke on his dick?
I do believe so. I never saw it, but there were results and you know, scientific residue from the examinations. And so that was a culture back in the day
Yeah, it
to
was.
sustain, you know, an erection. And I never saw him do it, but I knew he spoke about it, and I felt that I was a part of it unknowingly, because I don't think I would have accepted something like that in my body, because I knew that health and being, you know, when you're doing a film, you have to be 100% healthy. You're
Yes,
15-hour days. You can't come to work drunk or have a hangover
that's
or
right.
whatever the side effects of, you know, indulgences were. I had to be in because I'm a leader. I'm
Yes,
a
you
film
are.
that has to show up. If I work, 150 people work. If I don't show up, everyone gets fired. So
That's
my responsibility was to get people in the unions, keep them inspired. A lot of people felt like me. You know, if
yeah,
there's something that you like and you love and you're passionate about, you want to be around it.
that's
So
right.
all these people from the three branches, because I talk about, you know, filmmaking is like the three branches of government. You have the executives, the writers, and the crew. Without
Right.
the crew members, there is no us.
That's
So
right.
I get sick from partying and not
That
taking
is
care of myself, no discipline, and I get, you know, fired, 150 people will be fired.
See, that is so generous. You have such a giving spirit, and I think you've inspired us in so many ways. Um, you also beat and fought stage 4 cervical cancer, and fam, for those who don't know, that is one of the deadliest cancers out
It's
here.
very deadly because
And
there's
you went through it. From what I
and it's
understand,
and spreads to your body and you don't catch it in time.
you fought that. You beat it. Your boyfriend was left you, wasn't even there for you. How did you do that? You are such a shero of mine.
I didn't depend on anyone else to heal you. You come into the world by yourself and you leave by yourself. And so I figured that, yeah, okay, I've got to um, basically write it down, figure it out, go to all the Chinese, you know, medicine doctors and therapy.
What is next for you? Like, what's coming up for Pam? I mean, and then there was one other after that. What is next for you,
I
my dear?
have several films, including Pet Cemetery, and a film based on a French novel, and I've got a series called Them on Amazon Sony, and Bob's Burgers. I'm in animation, and
Oh, I love
so
it.
you know, the list is long, and I try not
I
to,
love it.
but I really enjoy, you know, having a career of creative and
Yes.
and passing it on and inspiring others, because today there's a new technology with the pandemic. We'll find a way to make films, whether they're series or not. But I hope to continue to inspire women and young men, any filmmaker.
Yeah, yeah.
Binary, you name it. Just, there's narratives to film,
Now
and they're
you, Quentin
across.
Tarantino wrote the movie for you. Nobody else has he done that for you, inspired him. How was it working with Tarantino? He's so intense.
Well, if you don't rehearse, you don't get to work with him. He rehearses
Ah!
weeks. Everyone rehearses. Sam rehearses. Robert De Niro rehearses. Michael Keaton rehearses. Everyone rehearses with him, so he can hear your beats and figure everything out and rehash things often. But he's one of the great, young filmmakers who literally transcends old school, new school, and after school.
It's so true. So last question for you, Pam. You have many children, but you decided not to have biological children. What was the thinking? Why did you make that choice? A lot of my girlfriends
I
have
had harvested my eggs after my cancer treatment, but I couldn't find the right, partner that I wanted at the time. And I think your eggs are only viable for so long, as tech scientifically. So I just, if it wasn't for me, that was fine. I'm
yeah.
comfortable, I'm confident with that and with what is given me. And I will learn to respect it and take care of other people's children.
You have many children. I mean, both in terms of the people you've inspired in film, through your personal story, through your courage, through who you are. You have many, many children. So
I
thank
do.
you so much. Again, big fan, and thank you for all that you have given to this world. We so appreciate and love
More
you.
to come.
Yes, more to
Um,
come. And I'm going to look at Bob's Burgers now for real,
I
just
play.
for
I
you.
play them. Yeah, and also George R. Martin hired me to play 6 characters in one of his animation shows, so I was grateful to learn from him
I
as well.
love it. I love it, Pam. Well, listen, everybody check out Cinnamon on Tubi, and thank you so much. I've been so
Thank you.
honored to be able to
Thank
have
you
this
for
conversation with
having.
you. Love
Yeah,
you.
and
Bye.
inspiration going. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, fam, don't forget to subscribe so I can keep bringing you these conversations. Let's go. Let's go.